AI is already a big part of our lives, and its influence will only keep growing. Good or bad, we don't really have a choice as this is our new reality. I want to talk about how the AI revolution is already starting to affect the anime industry. Even though the tech is still new, the changes are already happening. In the last few years, tools like ChatGPT for text and models like Midjourney or DALL for images have gone mainstream. So let's start with this. Why is AI suddenly taking over creative jobs? We've heard about robots for years. Elon Musk once promised fully self-driving cars by 2017. But instead of that, we suddenly got AI that can write, draw, or even make videos thanks to tools like OpenAI Sora, which was closed, or Vio. The reason is actually simple. AI is still unreliable and probably will be for a while. Even if the error rate is just 0.001%, eventually someone's going to get hurt by a self-driving car. And if AI causes a medical mistake, the companies behind it could get sued, which they obviously want to avoid. But no one dies if an AI-generated anime girl has 3 arms or 4 legs. A bad anime translation won't hurt anyone either, and people mess up all the time anyway. Well, okay, it can hurt. There was a case where someone used ChatGPT to write a book about mushrooms and started to sell it on Amazon. Because the AI was so unreliable, the book included dangerous advice like tasting mushrooms to see if they're poisonous. Please don't take advice from books written by AI. Which brings us to the first big shift we're already seeing in the creative world. More and more people are using ChatGPT or Claude to write or more precisely generate books. Some of them even end up generating full-length novel this way. Publishers say this saw a spike in manuscript submissions right after AI writing tools went public. What a coincidence. ChatGPT written books have flooded Amazon, with more people are using AI to publish quickly. Authors aren't required to disclose AI usage, so it's hard to count how many of them were generated. Some worry that without more transparency, AI could flood the market with low quality content and squeeze out real writers. Judging by the quality of some isekai harems, you might think AI already writes them, though honestly, it might do a better job. For now, it's still pretty easy to spot whether a text was written by a human or generated by AI. That's why most writers use AI for brainstorming instead of writing entire stories. It helps with blank page syndrome when you don't know how to start or what to write. But let's be real, plenty of people just generate text with AI. In Japan, for example, author Rie Kudan won a prestigious Akutagawa Prize for her novel Tokyo Sympathy Tower. She later admitted that 5% of it was written by ChatGPT. To be fair, the book is about AI, so using it might have been a creative choice. Still, the actual number of people who publish books this way might be higher. I mean, why admit you're using ChatGPT at all? In the past couple of years, academics writing in English have been using the word delve way more often as in delve into a topic. Turns out ChatGPT uses it 1,000 times more than humans do in normal writing. Sure, the word has been around forever, so you can't accuse someone of using AI just because of few weird phrases, but it does show how common AI writing has become, even in fields that affect real people. For what it's worth, the word delve also appears in The Lord of the Rings, so let's hope Tolkien didn't use an AI to write his books. In 2023, Hollywood screenwriters went on a strike, and one of their demands was banning AI from writing scripts. But how do you stop writers from using ChatGPT on their own? Most writers still do a better job than AI. But there is another problem. The guys in suits, people in higher ranking positions, who have never done a single creative thing in their bland, miserable lives. Creative types rarely become execs. They'd rather make things than sit through budget meetings. Some studio execs don't get art, but they sure love spreadsheets and contracts. Eventually, some AI experts will pitch something like, why pay writers hundreds of thousands of dollars when you can spend a grant on AI instead. And of course, the boss will happily fire everyone and then regret it later. The bottom line is get ready to see more books partially written by AI, and it won't be long before the same thing shows up in anime. But there is another creative field already feeling the impact: translation. According to Kloof, the English translator of Honsky no Gyakujo, or Ascendance of a Bookworm, machine translation is slowly becoming a standard in the industry, and it's not slowing down. Readers and companies want faster, cheaper localization, and replacing translators with AI is the fastest way to do that. Many translators, Kloof says, are eager to make their work easier without realizing they're helping to speed up their own replacement. But is that really a bad thing? Google Translate has been doing this kind of translation for years, but it still produces clunky, awkward output. You can usually tell right away when the translation doesn't reflect context. ChatGPT, on the other hand, writes more natural text that needs less editing than Google Translate. You might want to argue AI is faster and cheaper, sure, but humans definitely translate better. There is context, slang, nuance. No soulless machine can understand that, like us, the peak of evolution. And yeah, for now ChatGPT still can't beat top tier translators, but it's way faster, which is exactly what the companies want. DALL Books, for example, launched a platform to publish manga in English and said they will use AI for translation. And not even ChatGPT, just regular Google Translate. Meanwhile, Shogakukan is launching an app called Novelos, where readers can enjoy light novels in English. They have already confirmed over 400 titles, including Freerun, Beyond Journey's End. Sounds great, right? The catch? Every translation will be done by AI. Even so, Kloof says that machine translation is already better than what some weaker translators produce. Some started learning the language just a few years ago. Others have little translation experience. Some may know the language well, but lack the creative writing skills needed for translation. These are the people most at risk of being replaced by AI. It's the same thing we saw in tech as companies cut junior code monkey roles and kept the veterans. You could say none of this is really new. Not so long ago, factories had rooms full of accountants using abacuses. Then calculators were invented and productivity jumped, so fewer accountants were needed. Then came computers, Excel, and accounting tools, and suddenly one accountant could do the work of entire department. But that all happened gradually, giving companies time to adjust. AI is evolving so fast that some jobs might vanish entirely in just a few years. Well, maybe one day we will all get universal basic income. One can dream. You have probably heard this before. How do I get a job without experience if every job asks for it? Well, that's only going to get worse. AI is going to replace low skilled workers first, which means even fewer opportunities for newcomers to break in. And we are still at the start of the AI revolution. Who knows what next 10 or 20 years will look like? Just 2 decades ago, translation programs were absolutely terrible and could translate only single words. One day we will reach a point where translators are replaced by translation editors who just fix ChatGPT's mistakes. Take a long-running series like Ascendance of a Bookworm, which spans 33 volumes. As the story progresses, keeping continuity intact becomes harder. Later events have to match earlier ones. That kind of editing really matters, but companies won't need nearly as many editors as they do translators. And as AI translations improve, traditional publishers might fade out. Readers could get decent translations in just a few clicks. The same goes for visual novels. The VN market is small, so a lot of titles never get translated. But for gamers, anything is better than nothing, so AI is ready to fill that gap. Even Crunchyroll's CEO has said they're interested in machine translations. Crunchyroll has already been caught using some sketchy subs and the most infamous one being the malevolent kitchen meme from early Jujutsu Kaisen. It's hard to tell if these mistakes come from AI or from human translators, but they're becoming more common. It's not even a new term, as it was originally translated as malevolent shrine. Translating Japanese has plenty of challenges. For now, let's just say let him cook on malevolent kitchen. Things get even more interesting with manga. Aside from translation itself, there are many other tasks that AI can help automate. For example, a dev project called Code and Such can clean up speech bubbles, translate from Japanese, and edit the results. Another cool use of ChatGPT is reading text straight from images. You can now drop an image into ChatGPT and ask for a quick translation, which is perfect for manga pages. That's great for speeding up rough drafts. Honestly, I think there are exclamation groups doing fast AI based translations already. Even though I'm not a big fan of AI, there is too much untranslated manga in the world and I want to finish it. And while we're on the topic of manga, let's talk about another area AI is changing: image generation. Illustration was one of the first creative fields hit by the AI boom. Overall, demand for illustrators has gone down. And I don't just mean anime illustrators. Illustrations are used in marketing, media, and print publishing. I knew things had changed when I saw AI art in the bank ads. There used to be a strong demand for book cover artists. Professional illustrators were in high demand, but in the last couple of years, the demand has crashed. Just another one of those totally random coincidences, right? American author Sarah J. Maas has sold over 38 million books, according to Wikipedia, but apparently her publishers still don't think that's worth hiring an artist, so now they are using AI art for the covers. Most of the time, AI art is just good enough, and for most people and companies, that's all that matters, especially when it costs less than hiring a human. The real winners probably Rich Furious, which can now generate their own AI free porn instead of hiring beginner artists. Like I said earlier, this hits newcomer hardest, as that young illustrators now have a much harder time breaking in and getting experience. You might say, but people usually start drawing as kids because they love it, not to make a career. And I would agree, as you're totally right. That's how it used to be. But now we have to think about the present and what's coming in the next 5 to 10 years. How motivated will new artists be to keep going when generating good enough art takes almost no effort now? Very few people are born prodigies who can draw well from a young age. Every professional artist has spent thousands of hours honing their craft, starting from childhood. Now imagine you're 8 years old, you love drawing and dream of becoming an artist, and then there is a school art contest and you come in last. Will you practice for years when the tool can spit out good enough art in seconds? For now, it's not a big issue. Most kids still draw just for fun. We barely hear from them online anyway, so we wouldn't even know if it were a problem. But can a kid really stay passionate about drawing when tools like Midjourney or DALL are just one click away? So here is a new question: can you make manga without knowing how to draw just by using AI? And the answer is yes and no. The biggest problem with AI right now is sound stable it is, as mentioned earlier. Getting consistent character designs across panels is tough, but that's a tech problem that will probably get solved soon. Comics with stable designs are probably coming soon. Another problem is that AI keeps evolving and changing. YouTuber Shadiversity, a vocal supporter of AI generated art, demonstrated this well. He argued that generating images is hard work that requires real skills, and he proved it by showing how much better his results became over 6 months, ignoring the release of new version of Midjourney. There is also a legal issue. In places like the United States, AI-made works can't be copyrighted since they are built using huge datasets from existing art. In the future, we will likely see AI tools designed specifically for comic creation including stable character designs. But right now, not many people read AI-made comics. Lots of people outright refuse to read comics made this way. AI, not generative AI, could actually be useful for traditional artists. For just like how writers use it for brainstorming, artists could use it for character designs ideas or outfit concepts. AI could help with boring, time-consuming stuff like drawing detailed patterns. Just think about how long Kaoru Mori spends on the crazy textile details in Otoyomigatari, A Bright Story. Now imagine how much time she could save if AI did that part. But we're not there yet. Thanks to AI, the overall look of traditional art might even get better. In that way, AI might help manga artists with their workload, just like digital tablets did back in the day. Aka Kasaka, the creator of Kaguya-sama and Oshinoko, said he only became a mangaka because tablets were widely available. Drawing tablets let him fix his mistakes and redo his panels over and over until he was satisfied. Some artists, like Darmion from Kengan Ashura, take it a step further by building asset libraries ahead of time and reusing them to save time. The same idea works for all kinds of illustration, such as light novel covers, insert art, even anime frames. One place where AI can already help speed up anime production is with backgrounds. Backgrounds usually aren't the focus and tend to be more standard like trees, skies, or city streets. Some anime studios are already testing AI-generated backgrounds. Some seasonal anime already use it, especially because it saves money. Vid Studio has already made a short 3-minute film with AI backgrounds and also use it in the new opening of Ascendance of a Bookworm. Another way neural networks were used before AI image generation blew up was frame interpolation and upscaling. That's why there is a flood of cursed YouTube videos called anime opening in 4K 60 frames per second, even though only one anime was ever actually made in real 4K, Soul Levante, a 4-minute tech demo. Even girls from Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken used interpolation during production, so is it okay? If professionals do it and fix the issues, then maybe. If it's just some fan on YouTube, probably not. Let's be real, interpolation and upscaling already get cloned in an anime, especially in Jujutsu Kaisen. Turning 24 FPS into 60 FPS is a bad idea borrowed from gaming, where more frames is seen as better, but that doesn't really work for anime. In 2D animation, every frame is drawn by hand. Professional animators know how to position elements to create the strongest visual impact. AI doesn't know what's supposed to look good, it just inserts extra frames in between existing ones. To write this section, I had to watch some YouTube videos in 60 FPS, and I almost threw up. The things I do for you guys. Using AI to restore old anime, it depends on the execution. I once saw a remastered version of Naruto's first episode. It was AI upscaled, and it looked terrible. I'd rather watch it in low resolution. Maybe I got unlucky, or maybe all AI remasters are that bad. Either way, AI remasters still feel sketchy. For now, it's a whole different thing when professionals do it properly. I trust creators like Makoto Shinkai, who takes his 10 ATP master files and upscales them to 4K himself, and he actually knows what he's doing. People have already started playing around with AI video. One way is to generate each frame and glue them together, like Corridor Digital did with their short What If Rock Paper Scissors Was an Anime. They filmed real actors and ran the footage through AI to make it look like anime. If you lower your expectations and remember it's just a YouTube video, the result isn't half bad. But it's still nowhere near the quality needed for a commercial product. Still, it's likely that in a few years, AI will be able to handle live action footage and turn it into rotoscope style animation pretty easily. Then there is OpenAI's Sora and Google's Veo, tools built just for video generation, and it's doing a pretty decent job already. Well, it costs too much, so it's not a surprise that Sora was closed. So, is this the end of anime? Or maybe it's better to say a democratization? Nobody really knows. We constantly overestimate and underestimate the capabilities of artificial intelligence. I wish I could go back to 2021 and ask, when do you think we'll have public AI that writes good text codes and makes realistic images? I bet no one would have guessed next year, which means it's totally possible that a year from now, anime studios could be out of work while we make stories with ChatGPT, voice them with AI, and animate them with VO or Residence. Well, some folks already tried making a full anime with AI and it was awful. Laugh all you want and say AI still sucks, and for now, you're totally right. Just for now. AI improves with a scary speed. A few years ago it was just a joke, but now it's good enough to fool your parents. And speaking of voice acting, technology has already been used in this area for years. The clearest example is Hatsune Miku, who showed up way back in 2007. Back then the tech was new, kind of rough and didn't involve AI. You get a voice actor to record every word in the dictionary and boom, done, easy. But modern AI use far more advanced methods to produce much more natural sounding speech. As much as I love Miku, but let's be real, her voice doesn't sound natural, and that's part of her charm. What's new about AI is that it only needs a small set of spoken words to reproduce a voice that sounds close to the original without the limitations of older Vocaloid systems. In the United States, voice actor unions are already pushing back against AI in entertainment, but progress can't be stopped. When it comes to anime, some say might agree to license their voices for future use, and saving studios money on voicing minor characters. Right now, voicing a character still means casting, booking a studio, recording for hours, and paying actors. AI voices don't have any of those limitations. The real problem is the same as before, as it won't hurt experience so much, but it will make it harder for newcomers to break into the industry. Most voice actors start out doing background voices, almost no one begins with lead roles. But anime isn't the only place that needs voice work. Indie game studios will probably use AI voices too. Their budgets are tight, and AI helps to save money. Audiobooks are probably next. Recording audiobooks takes a long time, but we are already seeing books narrated using AI voice models based on real actors. Apple has already been testing text-to-speech for audiobooks. Google and Microsoft are also putting money into the text-to-speech technology. Microsoft Azure is pretty impressive actually. It also pays to ads, dubbing, and social media videos. On one hand, this will help content creators to save money. On the other, it will push more people out of the voice acting profession as demand shrinks. In short, like it or not, AI is taking over. Still, AI is too new to really predict where it's going. Even its legal status remains unclear. Right now, AI made stuff can be copyrighted, but that might change soon. Either the laws will get tighter and it won't be possible to be monetized, or courts will allow copyright anyway. Honestly, it's kind of sad where it's all headed. I'd love to live in a world where AI handles the boring stuff, giving more people more time to enjoy and create art. Instead, we might be headed for a future where AI makes art and humans do everything else. And it will be toughest on beginners, since they're the first ones AI will replace. Writers won't be able to keep with ChatGPT. It takes most people a year to write a book, and AI does it in minutes. Artists might spend hours on a single illustration, yet writing the prompt for generating a picture often takes longer than the image generation itself. Hopefully, AI becomes a tool that helps artists, writers, and VAs instead of replacing them, but I'm not holding my breath. Some might say real talent won't be replaced, not yet, but great creators don't just appear out of nowhere. They spend thousands of hours honing their skills. Hope you liked the video, but I also hope you won't read my old scripts because they are terrible. If you want help, support us meatbags, so like the video and hit subscribe.